The PC's got a lot of great games coming out over the course of the next year, so in this video I take a look at my top 10 most anticipated PC games for the rest of 2015 and going on into 2016. Now bear in mind it is currently June 4th, 2015, so if a game gets announced at a later date, it won't be present on this list since obviously it's not announced, like a game like Mass Effect 4. That hasn't been officially announced yet, but it's rumored that BioWare is working on it. That's not going to be present on this list. So without further ado, let's get right into my top 10 most anticipated PC games for 2015 and 2016. Number 10, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Developed by Ubisoft Montreal, Rainbow Six Siege is an upcoming first-person shooter, and it's actually a spiritual successor to Rainbow Six Patriots, which was cancelled earlier on. Running on the Anvil Next engine, Rainbow Six Siege looks to be a tactical shooter where you actually have to communicate with your teammates to get the job done. It's not going to be a game like Call of Duty where you can run and gun, and I imagine it's going to be even more tactical than a game like Battlefield. This is a game you definitely want to play with a couple friends because, you know, if you're playing online and you're not communicating it with anyone, you're not getting the most out of this game. Get a couple of friends, get on your favorite VoIP, and communicate, win games. This looks to be a great first-person shooter for those of you that have a couple friends to play with, and for those of you into more tactical style FPSs. Number 9, Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is an upcoming open-world RPG set in the 15th century medieval kingdom of Bohemia. This game has a focus on historically accurate and realistic content. Expect some gorgeous visuals out of this game because it's running on the CryEngine 3. This game was actually partially funded via Kickstarter, and they wanted 10% of their $5 million budget, and they actually ended up getting over $2 million from over 38,000 different backers. This looks to be a fantastic game for those of you that like your open world RPGs, and while it's coming out in the summer of 2016, Steam will have an early access available earlier on in 2016. Number 8 is The Division. Now, some of you guys might actually crucify me for only putting this at the number 8 spot because I know a lot of you guys are excited for it. Since it is a Ubisoft game and a game that focuses entirely on online play, I'm a little skeptical. This game actually reminds me a little bit of The Crew, and in my opinion, that game just did not live up to expectations. But this is one of the most anticipated PC games currently, and it had to be on the list. I'm excited for it. I'm a little skeptical, but hopefully they'll get things right with The Division. It's been delayed several times at this point. It was originally slated to be released at the end of 2014, then it got delayed onto 2015, and now finally it's scheduled for a release in Q1 of 2016. And hopefully that release date sticks. Number 7, Just Cause 3. The Just Cause franchise has quietly become one of the most noteworthy franchises on PC. The games look great. If you guys played Just Cause 2, and if you haven't, I don't know why. You can get it really cheap at this point since it is a couple years old, but it's still a fantastic game, a lot of destructibility, a giant world to explore. If you enjoyed Just Cause 2, expect more of the same in Just Cause 3. Better graphics, again, a giant world to explore, a lot of destructibility. It's a fun game. It definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's definitely a fun sandbox to explore. And if you're a fan of open world games where you pretty much can do whatever the hell you want, you'll enjoy Just Cause. Number 6, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Deus Ex Human Revolution was one of my favorite RPGs of all time, and if Mankind Divided follows in suit, it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm a real big fan of the cyberpunk RPG setting, and Deus Ex nails that setting to a T. The story's great, but Mankind Divided is going to take place after Human Revolution, so you're definitely going to want to play Human Revolution before you dive into Mankind Divided. Unfortunately, we don't know too much about Mankind Divided at this point, but like I said, if it's anything like Human Revolution, this is going to be a fantastic game, and those of you that are RPG and story nuts, you're definitely going to enjoy this game. Check it out. And Human Revolution is another game that you can get really cheap, and it's really great on PC. It has great graphics as well. Number 5, the new Mirror's Edge game. Now, some of you guys might think I'm crazy for putting the new Mirror's Edge game this high. And by the way, it doesn't have a title yet. It's not Mirror's Edge 2. It's just labeled as Mirror's Edge 2016 video game. It's releasing in 2016. But you guys wouldn't know how big of a fan of the original Mirror's Edge I was. At that point, there was a lot of first-person shooters coming out, and I just wanted a different kind of game, and Mirror's Edge came out, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was a fantastic game that unfortunately did not sell too well, but over the last few years, it has received a cult following, and everybody's been petitioning, complaining online, man, we need a sequel, and finally in 2016, we're gonna get one. There's another game we don't know much, but Mirror's Edge was such a fantastic game that I'm already super stoked for the new Mirror's Edge game, and I expect it to be great. Number 4, Batman Arkham Knight. When Batman Arkham Asylum was released in 2009, I was just expecting it to be another shitty superhero game. So we were getting so many bad licensed games at that point, so I was just like, alright, another shitty one they want to throw at us. And then I played Batman Arkham Asylum, and my mind was absolutely blown. That game was fantastic, and over the last few years, Rocksteady has released more games, including Batman Arkham City and Batman Arkham Origins. And finally, we have come to the end of the Arkham series with Batman Arkham Knight. This is a game you want to pick up. It's the end of a fantastic series piece of game, and I hope everybody supports it. This game is going to feature a fully explorable realization of Gotham City, and for the first time, the Batmobile is going to be a drivable vehicle. This is also a game that definitely accentuates the power of the PC, so if you do have a beefy PC and you can max out the setting, it's going to look great. So definitely check out Batman Arkham Knight. It's a game that's going to look great and have a lot of content, and it's the end to an amazing journey of games. Batman Arkham Asylum was fantastic. Batman Arkham City was also amazing, and Batman Origins, while it wasn't amazing, it was still a solid game. And that was pretty much of a filler game leading up to Batman Arkham Knight, but trust me, Batman Arkham Knight is going to be a fantastic game, even if you're not a fan of the Batman license. Number 3, Star Wars Battlefront. Now, originally this game had a ton of hype, and then when EA announced that it was going to have no traditional single-player mode, that kind of cooled things off. But I'm still super stoked for Star Wars Battlefront. I was a huge fan of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I remember back, when was it, 2004 or 2005? My friends would come over with the original Xbox copy of Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we'd just play it all the time. It was a fantastic multiplayer game. I'm not even a fan of Star Wars. I never watched a Star Wars movie in my life, and I still thoroughly enjoyed Battlefront 2, and I'm super stoked for the new Star Wars Battlefront game by EA. DICE is developing this, and it's also using the Frostbite engine, so expect this game to look amazing, and just like Batman, it's definitely going to accentuate the power of the PC. But finally, we're getting a new Star Wars Battlefront. People have bitched about one for like 10 years, and finally it's releasing this November. I'm excited, and hopefully it's the game that can get me back into multiplayer shooters, because I've kind of fallen out of love with a lot of multiplayer shooters. I haven't really been enjoying them over the last few years, but I expect to thoroughly enjoy Star Wars Battlefront. Again, it's a big part of my childhood, and I absolutely loved Battlefront 2. Number 2, Fallout 4. What can you say about Fallout 4? This is a game that the gaming world has been buzzing about for years, and it finally got announced, and it's going to be released fairly soon. While it doesn't have an exact release date yet, a late 2015 or early 2016 release date seems likely. And Fallout 4 is the real next generation of open world games. It's going to follow in suit with Witcher 3, which I also consider a next generation open world game. Bethesda does a great job of creating the worlds in their games, and expect Fallout 4 to even outdo Skyrim, which I thought did a great job at world building. And Fallout's a game you definitely want to play on the PC, because just like Skyrim, I expect this to have Steamworks support, and the mods are going to be awesome. That just adds endless content, and now that we're finally getting a true next generation open world game with all this heavy mod support, Fallout 4 I feel like is a game people are going to be playing for years to come. And it's freaking Fallout. All of you that played Fallout 3, you guys know what's up. You're excited for Fallout 4, just like I am. And number 1, and finally, and I don't think a lot of you will be shocked by this, is Star Citizen. Now, while I'm excited for Star Citizen, I'm also very scared. The hype around this game is just enormous that I think it's almost going to be impossible for this game to live up to expectations. But if I were to tell you that I'm not excited for this game, I would be completely lying to you. Star Citizen looks to be the new breed of PC gaming. This actually looks like a game that's going to take gaming to a whole new level if it's launched correctly. Like I said, it's something that has to be super scary for not only fans of the games, but the developers. Think about what they have to go through when this game finally does launch. And this game was crowdfunded. It raised over $15 million in less than a year. And the total amount of money that's been pledged to Star Citizen is nearly $40 million. Just imagine that. You've got $40 million of weight on your shoulders, and you have to get this game out properly, and you have to make it enjoyable to everybody, and that's gotta be enormous pressure for the developers. It's first-person space combat, and it's like an open world game. It's almost like every game genre mixed together in one seamless world, and no game's really ever done that. Star Citizen looks to be the first. I expect when and if this game finally releases, and if it releases properly, I see a lot of people jumping ship to the PC, and with good reason. This looks to be an amazing game. Pretty much all of you guys know of it by now, so I'm gonna stop rambling here. Do you agree with my top 10 list? Do I think I placed the game too high? Do you think Star Citizen is super overrated? Do you think a game is too low on this list? Is a game not even mentioned at all that should have been mentioned? Leave them in the comment section down below. Like I said, this is my top 10 list. Your top 10 list may vary, but thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great day. Peace.